Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LO3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangrove South Florida. And today's date is Monday, December 14th, 2020. And it's going to be a brief one for sure. I just did a show before this, and something caught my eye, so I'm going to talk about it right now from the Epoch Times. This is more like a editorial. And this one's entitled, World Demands Courage, Not Cowardice. This is by David Flint. The free world isn't looking to the United States with apprehension. Since Churchill handed the mantle to Roosevelt, the U.S. president has been a leader of the free world, its defender against the forces of evil, whether they be Nazi, communist, or terrorist. It is now the will of powerful establishment which has turned its back on the exceptionalism of the nation from its foundation, that the mantle of leadership be bestowed on former Vice President Joe Biden. That this is grossly improper is that not only he is the beneficiary of an election based on fraud on an industrial scale, but that on all the evidence available, he is totally compromised in his relations with the hostile regime determined to seize the role of the United States as the world's dominant power, Communist China. That is the only conclusion which can be drawn from the publication of emails found on his son Hunter Biden's laptop, the authenticity of which are not challenged and which are powerfully corroborated by his former business associates. That the mainstream media morally tainted by choosing to abandon its sacred role as free press to become the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party, aided by the social media monopolies, had attempted to suppress this before the election is powerful testimony to its veracity. They are now revealing his may well be part of some Machiavellian plan to allow early accession to the presidency of the previously unelectable far-left Kamala Harris. The email and corroborative testimony reveal that Joe Biden and his family have been long involved in the sale of access and influence at the very heart of Washington to foreign oligarchs, and in particular to those multi-billionaires who are at the center of the communist cabal which imposes a brutal dictatorship on the Chinese people. Perhaps the saddest moment in this tragedy was that only two of the justices of the Supreme Court have been willing to offer the moral courage and leadership which the great Lord Mansfield demonstrated in Somerset versus Stewart, 1772, when he was released a runaway American slave with these words, famously attributed to him, "The air of England is too pure for a slave to breathe, and let the black go free." Instead, the justices have chosen the ignominy with which previous Supreme Court justices are associated in protecting slavery, triggering the Civil War, constitutionalizing segregation, approving the strip of civil rights from American citizens for the sole reason that they had Japanese forebears, or inventing a constitutional right to abort, a right which has led to disproportionate killing of babies of African American origin. We do not know the full extent of the disaster to the United States and the world which may be unfolding, but Texas versus Pennsylvania 2020 may one day enjoy equal notoriety with that triggered of the Civil War, Dred Scott versus Sanford, 1857. Sad fact is that the rejection by the Supreme Court on the extremely well-argued constitutional case presented by the state of Texas is more likely to be based on fear of personal consequences rather than the feasible technicality used to justify this. This was easier than actually giving Texas and 17 other states their day in court. The majority, and especially the proclaimed originalists, the people defended from savage attack by the elites during the Confirmation, were thus saved the embarrassment of justifying their rejection of a case of the merits. A rejection would have been, on any fair hearing of the arguments, untenable. In the meantime, seriously implausible results in the crucial background states were achieved by secret counting in the absence of the observers, to use a term used in other countries, scrutineers. This and their subsequent neutralization are positive proof of serious malpractice that too many judges have refused to consider, and the mainstream media have dismissed reams of evidence, including a vast number of affidavits sworn under penalty of perjury, is only a reflection on those courts and on the corruption of the mainstream media. Unless some of the judges, including the recalcitrant majority on the Supreme Court, begin to behave judicially, and a requisite number of Republican representatives do their duty, the result will be that a candidate seriously compromised by the Chinese communists will become president, something which will cause rejoicing in ruling circles in Beijing, but which the United States and the rest of the free world will undoubtedly come to regret. Above all, the integrity of the institutions of the United States is as well as the very exceptionalism of the American foundation and the nation in issue. As the state of Texas cogently argued, and which the majority did not have the decency to even hear, our country stands as an important crossroads. Either the Constitution matters and must be followed, even when some officials consider it inconvenient or out of date, or it is simply a piece of parchment on display at the National Archives. He has some solid points. Vigilance is always the key. And those 7 justices, question is, what were they thinking? I read the memo. I talked about it in my past show on Friday. You have the link, you can see it for yourselves. Even the states that were getting sued have obligation to do everything fairly as well. Don't be afraid of calling it out. But you got a whole good amount of them in there are considered yes please, yes sir, yes ma'am, yes people. Pathetic. Foreign influences of all types, regardless, that includes Communist China, is a national security issue. John Jay and George Washington warned us about that. Jay's Fellow's Papers 2-5 and Washington's Farewell Address. We need to start studying the past, my friends. If we don't, we're doomed to repeat it. And that will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you send something that's interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence with decorum. Furthermore, I will leave this footnote on my speaker page. And if you want to contact me, you can hit me at LokiLuck3@gmail.com or LokiLuckNumbers03@protonmail.com. Man. And if you want to do contributions, You can hit me at paypal.me/look3. Plus, you can send your donations to the Epoch Times as well. Subscribe to them. I've enjoyed reading almost every article they have in here. I really do. I'm not a big fan of big known well newspapers, but articles like these guys, even American Free Press, you can see other stuff out there, good alternative stuff, but I enjoy it, and I take the time to verify things too. That's why I appreciate their work along with Epoch Times. So please, I encourage everyone to subscribe, donate. Give it a shot. They have like a special, it's like 4 months for $1. You can't beat that. You can't even beat that. 4 months for $1 on some good information, good journalism. So check them out, please. You won't be disappointed. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.
We have put together